Mubarak to you and welcome to Kaleidoscope with me, Savithri Rodrigo. Mosques the world over are examples of amazing architecture, and this one behind me is in Iran, the Sheikh Lotfollah Mosque, a true masterpiece in Persian architecture with its 43-foot diameter single-shell dome and a peacock that stands in its center reflecting the sun's rays. Ahead on our show is COVID survivor Kumudini David on Srilanka Life Let's Talk, PwC's carving the Viracone, and Dularadi Alvis on his coconut dreams on Empower Capital News Capsule, while the Hourglass Kitchen is on Life in 60. Now on with today's show. On our Empower Capital Snapshot, we feature the Hassan II Mosque in Casablanca. It was actually designed by a French architect and has the world's tallest minaret, 689 feet in height. The pandemic took its toll on Sri Lanka's foreign direct investments, which dipped 42% in 2020, just $687 million US. That's compared to 1.18 billion in 2019. Good news on tea, with exports in the first 3 months of 2021 increasing to 20 million kilograms. Responding to an urgent need for non-invasive ventilator facilities, Srilanka Life donated a high-flow nasal cannula to the Kalubovila Teaching Hospital. Sri Lanka's sportsmen have been doing great things. Oarsman Mahesh Jayakodi qualified for the Tokyo Paralympics, finishing first in the men's single sculls at the Asia and Oceania Olympic qualifiers in Tokyo. At the Lone Star Conference Championship in Texas, Ushan Tivankar set a new South Asian high jump record at 2.3 meters, and long jumper Sandharuwan won gold, leaping 7.84 meters. And in the list of countries emitting greenhouse gases, China leads the list, contributing over 27% to total greenhouse gas emissions, exceeding those of all developed nations combined. And a Belgian chocolate maker has produced chocolate vaccines in chocolate syringes. All you do is pop it in your mouth. With that chocolate shot, we'll be back with Carving the Viracone and Dularadi Alvis on our Empower Capital News Capsule. Welcome to our Empower Capital News Capsule and a glimpse of the magnificence of Spain's great Mosque of Cordoba, from the 8th century, renowned for over 850 columns of jasper, onyx, marble and granite taken from a Roman temple which previously occupied the site. Value creation in deal making has become an imperative as we see the way business is moving forward due to disruption, technological transformations and shifting business models. In a global survey of 600 corporate executives, PricewaterhouseCoopers had some unusual findings. I asked Director, Mergers and Acquisitions of PwC, Carving the Viracone, what Sri Lanka's corporate leaders and deal makers should have in place going forward.
Firstly, stay true to the strategic intent. Deals are more likely to create value if they are tied to the company's strategic vision and plan. Opportunistic deals can create value, but not as often. Secondly, develop a value creation blueprint. Ensure a thorough and effective process with integrated diligence around financials, operations, technology and people before the deal. And finally, put people and culture in the heart of the deal. Culture is critical for high-performing organizations. Examine if there are cultural differences and how they will work together post-integration. Effective communications can have a positive impact on staff morale. In summary, you can no longer look at value of a deal by the amount you pay. Value creation happens when a company works holistically through a deal by ensuring these core elements all working in harmony.
So shares at the Colombo Stock Exchange? This week, the all share price index was down by 0.5% and the average daily turnover was at 1.8 billion rupees. A ransomware cyber attack which disabled the biggest pipeline infrastructure in the United States kept WTI crude oil prices at near one-year highs at $64.50 US per barrel. Gold was slightly firmer after hitting one-year lows in April and was at $1,814 US per ounce this week. Dularadi Alvis didn't start off as an entrepreneur, but he saw opportunity in a factory that was closing down in the Coconut Triangle and decided to pitch his business idea to investors. His passion was to integrate Sri Lankan products with the rest of the world and build the first Sri Lankan owned tree-to-table coconut brand. Here's what makes his journey different.
So in 2018, there was a closing down factory in the Sri Lankan Coconut Triangle, and what I saw was an opportunity to turn it around as an authentic exporter to the world. But I've never been in business ever in my life. I've never done manufacturing, but I had a passion to want to integrate Sri Lanka with the rest of the world. So what I did was I pitched to a series of investors who then backed me. They liked me as an entrepreneur. Fortunately, we've been able to expand the business from what was an LCL business, exporting to a few countries, to now over 20 countries. So Cocoa House sells really on 3 Ps. One is provenance. We are located and sourced directly from Sri Lankan Coconut Triangle. The second aspect is process. So we follow a cold press temperature control process, as well as we source from organic estates and only use fresh coconuts. The third and the final one is parity. So parity is really critical to what we stand as Cocoa House. And just to put 2 numbers out there, 91% of our FOB selling value goes to the farming, processing, and other supplier community. And we're really only able to do that by selling our brand, tree to table, all the way from our factory to consumers around the world.
It's an orchestra in a container. Over the month of May, the New York Philharmonic with its Bandwagon 2 will be in parks around New York City, traveling in a 20-foot shipping container, playing on a fold-out stage with integrated lighting and sound. Now, that's mobile music. And this little fella, a border collie from Russia's Krasnodar, walks on its hind legs, pushes carts, and he has become the country's newest social media sensation. And that's our Empower Capital News capsule. Up next, getting ready for quarantine with Kumudini David on Selingco Life. Let's talk.
With Selingco Life Pension Saver, Sri Lanka's premier retirement plan, start planning for a retirement today. Selingco Life, a relationship for life.
The third wave has hit Sri Lanka, as it has quite brutally in some parts of the world. Quarantine centres are heaving at the seams and coping can become very tough. For those being placed in those centres, life drastically changes. Child rights activist Kumudini David got COVID and was placed in the Ramukkana quarantine centre. Here's an inside view of what it is like inside those centres and how to stay prepared for that inevitable moment on Selingco Life. Let's talk. So welcome Kumudini, good to have you back with us.
So happy to be back, oh my lord.
Now, not everyone can afford going to a paid quarantine centre. So, when you did go to that Ramukkana centre, what was your first impression of it?
Scary. Oh my lord. Especially because it ended up there at like midnight or close to midnight. It was all dark. It was surreal. It was strange. And finding out that the showers are all out in the open and the toilets are all the squatting variety was a culture shock, but about a day's time you get used to it.
What are the biggest challenges those in the quarantine centres were facing and are facing?
Connectivity is the biggest one. Most of the people who go into these centres they operate on the 100 rupee phone reloads and the 99 rupee data reloads. And so given that and the fact that there can't be any money going out, anything that we touch in the quarantine center is considered infectious. So nothing can go out of the quarantine center. And on top of that, the army can't accept money from anyone. The other is the fact that there are women and the administration, men, they were finding it weird and embarrassed and all of that to ask for sanitary napkins and things that are purely in the female domain. The other is, because this is a females and children's one, is the kids weren't eating what was being given. So the mums are going nuts trying to feed the children, figuring out what to give them, and those are the things that I addressed mostly.
So given that this is going to be an inevitability, given our situation at the moment, How does one get prepared?
The moment you get tested and you get a positive result in either the rapid antigen or the PCR, the testing center will notify the PHI, and the PHI will contact you and tell you to, they will give you 24 hours either to get registered into, get yourself, not registered, you have to physically be in a quarantine center, either paid or government, within 24 hours. That and once you tell them wherever you are going, they will give you half an hour to be ready. They will come and pick you up and deposit you wherever, either the paid center or the government PHI, the government centers. So you don't have a lot of time from testing positive to get ready. So have a go bag prepared with things that you absolutely need. So clothes, I packed my kitchen and my toilet, basically, right? So you have to look after yourself, you have to do your own laundry, you have to do your own cleaning. So take everything that you need for all of that, and you need to keep drinking warm stuff. So things that coffee, tea, samahan, peyava, kottamalli, whatever that you have, pack those and keep.
What should the authorities be aware of what goes on inside the quarantine centers?
You need to be aware of the fact that not everyone's going to be ready. Not everyone's going to be thinking rational enough. Once you are given a positive result, the human creature will first freeze. Right? They will get scared and start panicking, and it's like it's honestly like being sent to prison. Right? So the fear factor is very much there. So you need to keep broadcasting to be prepared, get ready and wait, and have things prepared, and also not to keep it such a secret what happens inside these quarantine centers. I mean, I got 2 videos about the Punani center and then the Kandakadu center, and those have now disappeared. I don't understand why it needs to be such a secret. This can't be done by just the government, it needs to be done as a private-public partnership.
Thank you, Kumudini, for all you have done, especially from our citizens, for the work you did inside the quarantine center, getting donations of supplies and daily necessities to make life more comfortable for those there. And not forgetting that Keel's delivery guy, who was of great help to you.
God bless him. Thank you, Asanta.
That was Kumudini David reliving her experience in a state-run quarantine center on Selinko Live. Let's talk.
With Selinko Life Pension Saver, Sri Lanka's premier retirement plan, start planning for your retirement today. Selinko Life, a relationship for life.
So while celebrating Eid today, we take a walk around some of the most beautiful mosques in the world. The world-famous Blue Mosque, which was built by the 19-year-old Sultan Ahmed in 1609, is one of 2 mosques in Turkey that has 6 minarets. And the reason it's called the Blue Mosque? Those exquisite hand-painted blue ceramic tiles. If you're one of those persons like me, always pressed for time when it comes to preparing meals, look no further. Hourglass Kitchen is here with just the answer on Life in 60.
The whole concept of Hourglass Kitchen revolves around the idea of saving time. We provide gourmet meal solutions that enable you to make a delicious dish or a meal at home in a fraction of the time it would take you to make it from scratch.
Hence the name Hourglass Kitchen, as you can prepare a dish at home in just 15 minutes using our products. We like to think of it as time well spent and saved.
We currently offer frozen meat items such as meatballs and burger patties made with pure minced chicken and a special spice blend, as well as oat-crusted chicken tenders.
We also offer sauces, dips and cooking paste such as our bestseller the peri peri sauce, a cashew cream cheese dip and a Thai red and green curry paste.
All our products are made with fresh ingredients and absolutely no preservatives.
Just 15 minutes for all those great meals. Thank you Meenal Mathani and Roshni Gunaratna from Hourglass Kitchen. you've given us hope in our kitchens. Our first birthday show is next week with a star-studded lineup, so don't miss out. Follow us on FB and Instagram and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Kaleidoscope with Savithri Rodrigo, and stay updated. We are currently in lockdown. Please be responsible. Wear your mask and wash your hands often. Amami hand wash guarantees keeping your hands soft, clean, and of course, safe. Stay safe and healthy. Now, here's our Kaleidoscope takeaway. Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. Marcus Aurelius.